Article by Lolita Lopez from NBC4 Los Angeles. Hotline for military service members sees uptick in calls following activations in Los Angeles. Resource counselor for GI Rights Hotline says they have experienced an increase in calls from service members, many of them under federal activation to Los Angeles during days of immigration riots. We don't like that word. Thousands of U.S. National Guard members and U.S. Marines now mobilized in Los Angeles have sworn a duty to serve their country, but some are finding themselves confused about the actions of their government leaders, according to a resource counselor who is part of the GI Rights Hotline. Quote, the GI Rights Hotline is a nonprofit, non-governmental organization that provides information to people in the military who are having different kinds of issues involving their military service. Steve Wolford, resource counselor for the hotline, said. Steve Wolford has been a resource counselor with the GI Rights Hotline for 2 decades and says the hotline has been receiving more calls than usual. We've been getting around 200 calls a month in normal times. I had 50 calls on Sunday, he said. Wolford explained that most of the calls are from service members, their family members, and others following the National Guard's mobilization in Los Angeles. This person never envisioned what they were signing up to do as being a situation where they might point a gun at a fellow U.S. citizen who they might think is just exercising their rights to free speech or something like that. So this was someone who is very troubled about what's happening, said Wolford, describing one of the calls. Some of these people are thinking of, this is my home, this is my neighborhood, or this is my town, where they're sending me, he added, and I know people who might be targets of immigration raid or whatever you want to call it, of ICE activity, and I'm not going to go deport family members. So there's people who feel like they're in a real bind there between what I'd say duty to country and family, and they openly talk about it. That's Steve Wolford, and really this is just further illustrating that what's going on in Los Angeles is not, this is not a Los Angeles problem. This is not a problem for the people of Los Angeles. People of Los Angeles seem pretty clear on what they want, to be left alone by the federal government and to leave their friends and neighbors alone. And it, again, we look at what is being done to these people who were just doing their jobs, helping their community, are members of their community, regardless of whether or not they're here legally or not, whether or not they're citizens. It doesn't matter. They're there. They're helping. They're not doing anything wrong other than a misdemeanor border crossing. And now we've got a militarized police force. It's 3 militarized police forces. We've got the National Guard, ICE, the LAPD, the Marines, coming in to deal with a group of unarmed protesters who, yeah, I'm sure there's been some unrest. I've seen the reports, graffiti, they're throwing chunks of concrete, they're not armed, they're not shooting anybody, they're not burning down any buildings, and all they're saying is get the hell out of our community and leave these people alone, which, maybe, they don't really have time to wait for the next election cycle to have that message be heard. And as far as I'm concerned, that's an American right. This country is built on popular uprisings, popular movements, things that might be called riot, from the Boston mobs during Pope's Night rioting against the Stamp Act, to the Boston Massacre, which started as a civil unrest against what was a militarized police force, the British Army. I mean, that's the craziness about this. Today, we are on the 250th anniversary of the Army that was founded to kick people like this out of office, to kick the people like this out of our country, people who want to deploy the military to shut down people who are exercising their right to freedom of speech. And again, it can't stress enough. The message is leave these people alone. And it's a damn good message, and it's a shame that so many people in the military are being forced to enforce the will of someone else in a way that they never thought they would, and they definitely should not be doing. I don't know what countries, where this is appropriate. We can throw names out there, North Korea, whatever. I don't know. There are other places in the world where maybe this happens. But I don't like it in this country. And I don't think anybody else does. Saturday, June 14th, 2025, per the AP, hundreds of law officers fanned out across a Minneapolis suburb Saturday in pursuit of a man who authorities say posed as a police officer and fatally shot a Democratic state lawmaker in her home in what Governor Tim Walz called a politically motivated assassination. Authorities said the suspect also shot and wounded a second lawmaker and was believed to be trying to flee the area. Democratic former House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark were killed in their Brooklyn Park home. Senator John Hoffman, also a Democrat, and his wife Yvette were injured in their Champlain address about 9 miles away. Authorities identified the suspect as a 57-year-old Vance Bolter, and the FBI issued an award of up to $50,000 for information leading to his arrest and conviction. This is all per the AP. Looks like they didn't give details of a possible motive, though. If you look into Mrs. Hortman's background, she is responsible, or at least instrumental, in a bill limiting police actions, limiting their use of neck and chokeholds. Certain, I believe it's warrior trainings. This is someone who used to work in Minneapolis, in Minnesota, which, as we all know, is where George Floyd was tragically killed. Murdered. Thank you very much. If you're looking for a motive, that someone dressing up as a police officer, and from what pictures I've seen, look like a guy's wearing like an old man mask or something, showing up to this person's house dressed as law enforcement and then killing this person. Seems pretty clear to me, and just utterly disgusting. That's been today's news. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.